So that was it as far as the mean content. We're gonna, for anyone that wants to stay on, Alicia's gonna regale us with some of the wonderful things she learned in sessions. And let me tell you, she found some really good tips with networking from people. So it's definitely worth hanging on if you guys have the energy. So Alicia, take it away.
Right. The one thing that they talked about, that there's a couple things that really stuck out in my mind, but one of the things was for the future with all the healthcare changes, the the companies that are making money are surgery centers and things like well, procedures that insurance doesn't pay for. Let's say that, for example, because when insurance is paying, they're ultimately dictating how much money they will pay ultimately, especially government plans. Okay, but the ones that don't get dictated to, LASIK surgery for your eyes, um, uh, like gastric bypass surgeries and stuff, that is only, that only got an ICD 9 code or a CPT code like in 2010, before, and they're just barely starting to pay. They're really not. Like sleeve procedures, they have to pay for that out of pocket. Other procedures that they have to pay for out of pocket, plastic surgeries and stuff. So if you want to work for somebody that you know is going to have money, go to surgery centers, go to these specialty doctors. They usually have fantastic waiting rooms because there's competition there, and their employees get paid well. They get bonuses, So start thinking of that CPC-H. That's geared just for that type of coding. That is going to be real interesting to see what happens in the future with that. Another thing that really stood out in my mind is a lot of that was done on risk adjustment, and it falls into the HCC coding that I'm doing. Um, the tide is going to turn in the next few years that the doctors aren't going to be paid via what they do to the patient like CPT codes. They're actually going to get paid by how sick the patient is. And that's what HCC coding is all about. It's Medicare Advantage, and how they give the doctor an X amount of money by, if a person has diabetes, they get this much. If they have diabetes and kidney disease, they get X and Y. And if the person has throw neuropathy in on top of that, they get even more money. So you're going to see some changes with ICD 10, and that's real interesting. So I'm excited about that because I'm an ICD-9 junkie. Now the thing about the heads up about ICD 10, again, like everybody's been saying, know your anatomy and physiology. I did a couple classes with that, and they gave some examples of how specific it is. And you're going to need to know some things that you might not have known before. Now, can you learn this on your own? Yes, you can. Is it going to be easier to take a quick course and beef up your skills? Yes, it is. So you might want to consider that before ICD-10 comes around. There was a lot of fear still about ICD-10 and doing that certification. They are stressing you need to do ICD-9. Get certified in ICD-9 first, because ICD-9 is not going away. Uh, if you have workman's comp, and they gave a list of 3 or 4 other things, they're not using ICD-10. They're going to stay in ICD-9. Now, let's say a person goes into the hospital and they have a heart transplant, and it's in and we're in full mode of ICD-9, but the date goes by. There's no leeway. You switch to ICD-10. So you have to be able to code in ICD-9 and ICD-10. And so, they really push that. No ICD-9. It's going to help you with ICD-10 because you'll look up everything the same. Everything ultimately is the same. A great example that was given by one of the doctors, he said, let's say you open up a catalog and you're going to order a shirt from Sears. So you pick out what kind of shirt you want. If it's got a collar and it's a button-down shirt and you want it in blue. So you take that little code they give you call up the operator, and you order that shirt. Now, let's say you want to order that same shirt with JCPenney's. Guess what? You take their catalog, different code. Same thing. I want a collar, I want buttons, I want it in blue. You did everything the same, it's just a different code. That's what ICD-10 is. It is the same, except they can even tell you that they're going to give it to you in cotton, in linen, in polycotton, and polyester. So that's the difference. It's real exciting.
That's good. And I have up on the screen, this is the video that Boyd took of Alicia and I last week. You're so good, Boyd. You got that all the way up, and you're traveling to Israel. You're amazing. And that's our little booth in the background of, and I was interviewing Alicia. This is how Boyd works. He goes, here's a microphone. Talk to
Yeah.
Alicia about the sessions. We're like, click. And so I had my Minnie Mouse ears on. But it turned out pretty good. That's on the blog if you guys want to see it. Just go to codingcertification.org/blog and scroll down, and you'll see it. So
You guys were very coachable. Thank you for being coachable.
It was fun.
just do it. So very good. Anything else that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I could talk forever, but I won't. So let's see. And a couple other things that were very exciting about the conference is the local chapters, and if you're not familiar with how AAPC is set up, the AAPC is national and worldwide actually, but they divided everybody up into regions, and they give them a color. And like I'm in region 5, so that was orange, and everybody gets crazy about colors. They will and Texas and even Missouri, my hometown, same one. So if you're wanting, and we had a question come through, someone wanted to know about starting a local chapter, call the AAPC. They will get you in contact with your region. They will get you a mentor if you want to start a local chapter, and give you the information on how to get that started. They have a fantastic support network. They've got a new group. I think it's only a couple years old. Lauren, you might have to correct me on that, but that they have like a board that supports the local chapters. And there was a lot of information and a lot of support at the conference about local chapters and how they are working to make life easier for coders. And there's a really big support network. And I always tell everybody, go to your local chapter meetings, get to know your people. They're going to get you a job. These are your peers. That I can't tell you enough about that, and they drove that home as well there. If you can go to the next conference, which is going to be in Tennessee, at where's it going to be in
the
Tennessee?
old Opry or
Nashville,
yeah,
yeah.
Nashville. There you go.
And you're just so pumped. The amount of information that you get is unbelievable. And I'll have you know, I didn't know it wasn't recorded, but I have access to all the slides for 30 days. So I've been downloading slides like crazy, and we have permission to use those, I think, as teaching tools. And so there was some, one of the best ones I had was cardiothoracic surgery. I know you guys know, my students and stuff, that I ate that up. I mean, wow, that was really awesome. He had 3D slides. It was just so cool. And so I, in fact, right before that interview, I was telling Boyd about all these slides and how they could do this and that. And I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. It's really, really awesome. And they went into the heart, and just, it was great. So it is a real high. And if you can go, save your pennies, put money in the cookie jar. Even if there was people there that weren't certified yet, they offer exams when you're there. So that's great. Oh, reminds me, I want to give a shout out for my roommate and my fellow local chapter member, Diana Sawyer, who also helped me with one of the slides before this webinar, like 10 minutes before the webinar. So she was amazing. And she took the new billing, beta tested the new billing exam.
Get more CPC exam tips, coding certification training, and CEU credits. Go to www.codingcertification.org.